Hey Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Laura. How are you?
So good. I'm so glad we can finally do this, even amidst your hot mess of a situation.
Things happen, right?
Things happen. So, for our listeners, I kind of met Sarah in a very third person, third party kind of way. Um, we were introduced through, I wouldn't even say a mutual friend because we weren't friends, but my friend found you and your company on Instagram, and you gave us some of your masks for our full moon event.
Yeah.
And I just reached out to you and said thank you, and I would love to meet you in person. And that's kind of how we connected. So, Sarah has this amazing company um, called MＡSK Skincare, but you do so much more than that. So, how did you get into um, finding cannabis and your whole like origin story?
Well, I think I have to start with the fact that I'm from Europe. My mom's Norwegian and my dad is Greek. So I grew up my first 5 years in Greece on a very small island where we grew our cucumbers and our tomatoes in our backyard. Like everything, my grandpa was a fisherman, so he fished all of our dinners. And when my parents got divorced and we moved back to Norway, my mom kind of kept that. So whenever I was sick, she used to heat olive oil to put in my ears, or she made me, tea with fresh ginger. Like I remember once or twice I was on antibiotics because I was really sick. So growing up holistically was always part of, my background. But the only stigma here is that cannabis is viewed in a very different way where I come from.
Yeah.
It's known as, a gateway drug. And if you do this, you're a stoner, you're a loser, you're going to start heroin and crack, and that's the end for you. They kind of put this scare mechanism into you from an early age. So, moving here and taking my master's degree, I kept continuing, I always had a passion and love for wellness. And of course, this country is very much expanded in,
Yeah.
in that area. So I met one of my mentors that introduced me to CBD. And I just noticed that it really helped with, anxiety. New York City is such a fast forward pacing and energizing place that you kind of get, sometimes you're exhausted or you get anxiety or you're stressed. And I just saw so many people either going on Xanax or they drank a lot of alcohol, and, trying CBD just really helped me. And I was like, what is this? What is this plant? I got to research it. So reading more about it and just finding out all the fascinating benefits and advantages, I just fell in love. And, long story short, I now have 5 retail stores and a skincare brand, and the feedback has been nothing but amazing.
Okay. You definitely made that really short. Because there were so many other. So I had the privilege of talking to Sarah in person before we did this interview, so I know her whole story. But you had acne, right? That was the first
Yeah.
reason why you wanted to get into CBD.
Yes, I struggled with acne from I was 12 or 13, so I was very young.
Mhm.
And my mom kept telling me that, it's your teenage years, it'll pass. Try to stay away from dairy, all those advice that you get. Stay away from dairy or sugar and I did everything. I went vegan, I tried so many products. I started medicine for a little bit, and then it got better, and then it didn't, and then it was back and forth. And I was in the middle of my 20s, and I was like, when is this going to end? So when I turned 30 and I still had acne, I was kind of beside myself, because it's like, am I going to have this for the rest of my life?
Mhm.
But then, like I said, going into a more holistic journey, it's a full mind, body, spirit process. It's how you think, it's how you speak to yourself, it's the environment around you and the products you use and the food you consume. And, it's a 360. So I did not only wanted to start a, non-toxic, clean skincare line that had CBD, I wanted to make it holistic and spiritually as well, as I think both go hand in hand.
Yeah. When did you come to the States?
In 2014, well, December, so it's been 5 years.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
5 years. What made you come here?
Well, my aunt's been here since she was 18, and I've always traveled back and forth. And I don't know, I've always had this love for this country.
Mhm.
I grew up watching all the movies and all the TV shows after school. And I, like every other girl, I love Sex in the City. And it's
Yeah.
just, you just feel like you can do anything over here. There's so many entrepreneurs and free thinkers and creative and successful and just amazing people that for me, it was somewhere where I could be myself and kind of explore more. So, me and one of my best friends, we just, we quit our jobs and we moved here.
Wow. So you said that your parents, or the culture of your country, they see CBD as like kind of bad. Has that changed now?
In Greece, it has. In Greece, it's now legal. My younger sister is going to esthetician school. So she's dying to open up a spa where
Mhm.
they can do CBD treatment. But in Norway, it's still not allowed, unfortunately. My mom's opened up a lot to it. She now loves the products,
Mhm.
have her friends try it. Her friends love it. So I keep sending stuff to Norway.
Mhm.
But it's still viewed as kind of like early stages over there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So you said that you were going through this like outwardly, I don't want to say like problem. It was just acne, but that made you want to do your spiritual journey and kind of look deeper. Can you talk to us about that? Like, what was that process like?
Well, like I said, if I came to the point where is this going to be the rest of my life, I needed a way to kind of accept myself as I was and just kind of see beyond that I had acne or that would be an issue or preventing me from doing things, because I didn't want to be upset anymore and not like what I saw in the mirror. And I kind of wanted to destigmatize the word beauty because I think today the word beauty has such a superficial meaning to it. It's viewed as perfect teeth and everything in your face is symmetrical and thick hair and long lashes and a thin nose. And I was so sick of that. And the selfies and the filters, and you met people that you saw online and they looked nothing like they did. And yet
Yeah.
there's girls getting eating disorders and don't feel like they're good enough. And I was just so tired of that.
Yeah.
So I was just, what, acne or not, I'm just going to accept this as it is and learn how to live with what I see in the mirror every day. So I started reading a lot of, Louise Hay and Brene Brown and all the spiritual
Mhm.
mentors that I could find. And I think in a combination with, self-acceptance and daily meditations, eating healthy and choosing the right products for my skin, it just, cleared up for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And also CBD.
Yeah, that's what I said. With finding CBD was a huge, not only did it kind of calm my anxiety, it just really helped on my skin. And that's kind of how I came up with doing a skincare line, because I took the oil and, patted it on topically on my acne, and I just saw a huge increase in inflammation.
Mhm.
Not increase, but decrease. Yeah. So that's what do I have to lose? So I asked my partner James, who I have the stores with, if can we just do this on the side? It was just a side project because I love beauty and I love natural beauty and all the ingredients. And he's like, sure, let's go. And then it just took off.
Wow. So for the listeners who don't know what CBD is, I mean, I feel like everyone knows what it is now because it's blown up. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. What is it exactly?
CBD is cannabinoid. It's the non-psychoactive part of the cannabis plant. So you have hemp and you have CBD and you have THC, but it's all from the same, umbrella mothership. So you have hemp seed, that's for moisture. You have the THC part, that's more of the psychoactive part of it. And then you have CBD, that's known for, the healing benefits.
Mhm.
CBD is just one out of over 100 different compounds that are found in the plants. Like if you see in my skincare brand, we use CBG and CBN as well.
Mhm.
We found that those two cannabinoids are very efficient for things like red skin and inflammation, acne, psoriasis, and all that.
Mhm.
Have CBDA, CBDB. Scientists just found 2 new compounds in the plant that was discovered just a month ago. So there's a whole other, universe out there that we don't know about. And I think CBD is the most generic cannabinoid that was easy to extract and is so beneficial to a lot of things, while the other ones have kind of isolated in their own purpose. So I think that's why that particular cannabinoid stood out and became more mainstream than the other ones.
Yeah, and you can't get high because there's no psychoactive.
There's no psychoactive to it, no.
Yeah. My mom is always like, am I going to get high?
My mom too, she's like, I cannot believe you're in cannabis. Do you need to go? And I was like, mom, relax. It's not. But you mentioned, earlier that you tried one of our CBD joints and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so I've smoked cannabis. It's so funny because it's called pot. We used to call it pot, but I used to do a lot of it in college and my early 20s to help me sleep. But I hated the fact that it would sometimes make me feel crazy and just like my body would feel weird. So I haven't smoked it in a really long time. And then when I tried one of your joints, I got that like flashback of when I first tried it and I was coughing.
And yeah.
I was like, oh. Yeah, but it was really good. It made me relax. Yeah. But I mean, we could talk about this later, but I really love your masks. So I really want to talk about like how you were able to come up with that idea with CBD and beauty, because when I first met you and I looked on your website, I love your message about how you wanted to take off the masks of beauty. And I just wrote an Instagram post yesterday about, yeah, I wanted to take off my mask so I didn't wear any makeup, but it's so much more than just makeup and like what you look like on the outside. It's really a spiritual thing to me. So yeah, I would love to hear how you got to this idea.
Well, it's like I mentioned, with the word beauty, that it needs to be defined in a different way, because people are like, oh, it's a sheet mask and mask, it makes sense. But in reality, if you read about, the brand story, it's about, we all wear different masks throughout the day. We wear one with our coworkers, one with our friends, one with our significant others. But the most important one you wear is the one you wear when you're by yourself. And that was the one mask that I really struggle with. At the end of the day, standing in the bathroom, cleaning my face, and when all the makeup came off, I did not like what I saw. So mask is also about, finding confidence, finding that inner beauty and not just focus on the outside. And coming from someone that's tried, a million products, and my bathroom looked like a Dwayne Reed, I just know that it's easier to have someone try on a mask instead of switching out your face wash or your face cream or whatever it is, because it's costly, and second, it might be intimidating, especially when you see the CBD part. You might be skeptical, you don't want to try it, you don't have the education enough about it. So for me, that was an instant, we need to do a mask, and not the clay masks or the other ones, because you get it all over your hair and you can't wear, a t-shirt. And so it's just very easy. It's non-threatening. We decided not to put the cannabis leaf on the packaging. So it's a very neutral, clean, welcoming packaging that explains everything. Everything's essential oils, non-toxic, as organic as possible. So I just wanted to make this more mainstream and show that cannabis can also be this, not just, the stigma that you're taught.
Yeah. So because there's cannabis and CBD everywhere, what are some of your tips on how to get a good product? Like, how do we know as consumers?
Yeah. First of all, you have to do a little bit of research first before you buy CBD, just to get acquainted with what it is and how it works. Projectcbd.com is an amazing source. It's easy to read, and the average consumer will understand it. Second of all is, don't go into like a clothing store or a bodega to get your CBD. You should get it from a CBD focused store, or a natural pharmacy, or someone that's trained and know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to that point, you have to read the ingredients. There should be no propylene glycol, no vegetable oil. If you can't pronounce it and if you don't know what it is, don't put it on your skin and don't eat it. And lastly, but not least, is a COA. It's a certification of authentication of analyze. You need to see where the CBD is sourced, what's the percentage of CBD in it, what lab that is third party tested. It's kind of a little formal sheet that shows you that this is from the United States, and it should be done that year.
Yeah. How did you know that this was it, like CBD, and the way that like you're offering to the world, like, because you could have done so many different things, right?
Yeah.
How did you know that this was it?
I didn't. I kind of followed what made me happy, I guess, what made me wanted to get up in the morning. I've been in several corporate jobs, and you and I talked about this. For the people who love it, I admire them, but for me, that's not, I can't do that. So I vowed to myself when I quit my last corporate job that from now on, I'm just going to work. I don't care about being rich. I want to be happy. I want to get up in the morning and actually do something that gives me purpose. And this was the first thing that did that for me ever in my life.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
You said you found a healer right in the city. Because you could have just been a healer,
I think I think it takes a certain type of strength to be a healer. For me, I have a tendency to take on a person's mood. Like if, let's say my boyfriend has a bad day, I instantly know. And I kind of take that so heavily upon myself that, I feel sad for him or angry on his behalf. So I just noticed that for me, it was difficult to kind of shed those emotions with certain people. And I think it takes, maybe several life lessons, or maybe I'm just not there yet where I'm supposed to be. But to me, I feel like I'm healing through my products rather than through my, words or hands, or however that, person decides to share their gifts.
What are your favorite like spiritual modalities? Like what is in your practice?
Meditation, breathing. I try to do at least 5 minutes a day wherever I can squeeze it in. I usually do it in the mornings on the trains down to the city. I kind of like just set my day, set my intentions. If I'm really nervous before a phone call or a meeting, I try to like breathe in and out 3 times, kind of, cleanse the air, make everything good. I burn Palo Santo on very often in my house. When I first started, dating my boyfriend, he's like, what is that? Because he's not in the same world as I am. But now he loves to smell, and he's become very much open to, my spiritual practices as well. But I think it's important that you find what's right for you. Don't just do it because all the people on Instagram, or it's what you read about in Elle or Lore. It has to feel good for you. It has to feel right for you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I just had a question, and it like literally walked out of my mind. Oh, so you said that you had 5 retail stores, Hemp
Garden.
And how did you start that? That's like huge. Having 5 retail stores?
I did not start all of them. When I first started with CBD and trying that out, a friend of mine said, a store just opened up on the Lower East Side. It's a CBD store. Maybe we should go check it out. I was like, absolutely, let's go. So we went down there. I met the owner and I mentioned that, I did social media and I had a background in marketing. And he said, well, we could use help. So I got a job on that day and started working there. And I just saw so much more in that space that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
So, I pitched him and we kind of grew, more stores out of there. And, here we are. And he is today my boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happened very organically and unexpected. I was not looking at all. I was just, I'm so happy we can go on, but that's when it happened, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but he was just this, he started it with his son and he's just this amazing person that supports me in whatever madness I choose to do. And I think that's important that
Mm-hmm.
you have someone there to kind of back your crazy up.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Because, as a more quote unquote spiritual person, you kind of have ideas that are out there, want to try things that
Mm-hmm.
are not the norm or the mainstream, and you're kind of scared of showing who you really are. But he thought it was so cool, and he is so amazing.
That's so wonderful. Did I meet him that day?
You didn't.
I didn't. Yeah.
He has a whole other business up here in Connecticut. He's a electrical contractor. So
Oh, no way.
very far from the ads to so, but he's super, forward thinking. He immediately really loved working on MＡSK with the design, and he's the one that came up with the packaging.
Wow.
His feminine side has definitely been more used. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
So Hemp Garden, you sell like traditional CBD products, right?
Everything CBD, from pre-rolls to tinctures, teas, bath bombs, lotions, edibles, anything that a normal store has, but it's all CBD.
Mm. And then the MＡSK skincare is like your, I guess, sister company?
No, it's two different entities, but we sell MASK in all of our stores. But it's two separate companies, two very different brand strategies, but founded and run by the same people.
Yeah. Do you find that it's the question or the conversation that I have a lot with my friends now is like being spiritual and in business, like being a spiritual entrepreneur? Do you find that it's hard to be that more masculine and money, because you have to make money, but also spiritual, like you want to give back and you want to help people? Do you find that to be difficult?
In the beginning, I did, because I kind of felt guilty, charging people for something that helped them.
Yeah.
But then I don't remember the podcast, but it was a podcast about money scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Tony Robbins podcast. I don't remember the guest, but they mentioned it, and I was like, you know what? It makes sense, because, like you said, we all need to get paid, and we all need to, pay for our bills and live our lives and everything. So I try to give back whenever I can. Like if there's someone coming in and really needs it, we give a lot at Hemp Garden, either in discounts or in products. We do a lot for charity. We try wherever we can to help out whoever we can. If we see that someone's struggling and they really want to get off of their meds, or we're not going to charge them, $300 for a tincture. So that's not what it's about. It's about helping first and foremost. But you have to remember that this is such a new industry, and the extraction process alone with CBD is very expensive if you want high quality oil, which you do, because this can help patients with seizure and cancer and pain and anxiety and inflammation. So we also have to make money in order to be able to provide this help. But for us, it's not about taking from anyone's pocket. It's about sharing this amazing plant and being able to help people.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see your company in like 5 years?
I would love for MASK to become more of a, educational brand.
Mhm.
I just see that there's a lot of lack of education when it comes to CBD.
Mhm.
People don't know what it is, or they're unsure how to use it, where to get it. It's like you ask, what do you have to look for? Like, not a lot of people know that there's COAs and what ingredients you can use and not use, the extraction processes, and where you get your CBD from, how it's sourced, how it's planted. So for me, I'm starting to, build a platform that has both education, that has, both meaning, and that we continue to make products that are clean, non-toxic, and as environmental friendly as we can.
Yeah, I mean, you see CBD being sold at the gas station, and you're like, "What?"
In our stores in the, West Village in the summertime, the pickle tent had CBD. I was like, what? You sell CBD tinctures? I'm like, you're a pickle stand. How does that?
Yeah.
And again, that's where you don't get the proper education or the proper knowledge about it. So you have to go in and luckily after us as well, there's opened up a few other CBD stores. So they're
Mhm.
all over the city now, and go in, sit down, ask the person behind the counter. That's what they're there for. Like in all of our stores, we have that bar feeling. So you can sit down. It's kind of a sitting down at the bar. We have our, bud tenders, as we call them. And you can just, there's reading material, and just sit down and ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Can you name some of the benefits of CBD? Like,
Oh my God.
um, yeah, just because, like, I think, like what you said, I think it's so misconstrued. I think people think you do it to get high. Um, so,
Mhm.
what are some of the benefits?
Well, one, it's highly inflammatory. So if you suffer from anything with inflammation, it's going to help. If it's in your joint, if it's in your gut, if it's in your skin,
Mhm.
that's going to help. It helps a lot with anxiety because it calms the nerves down. Um, Sleep disorders, if you can't sleep, if you're twitchy at night, or like me, you have a racy mind, that helps. Anything that has to do with instability in your body, CBD will help you with. To explain it, very easy, you have receptors naturally in your body that's called CB1 and CB2. CB1 is brain, CB2 is your immune system.
Mhm.
So wherever you're lacking, this when you consume CBD, it'll find its way to your receptors, and it'll bring you back to homeostatic state, which means you're in balance again. So
Mhm.
it's funny because you're designed to consume CBD.
Mhm. So interesting.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation about the endocannabinoid system and all the cells and how they work and the neural functions in it. And I can go on for days, but
Yeah, because it is a plant medicine.
it is. That's
Yeah.
from the earth. It's like making a tea. So when
Mhm.
you, as a business owner, you get shut down by FDA on so many things, it's frustrating because I'm not out here selling pharmaceutical, drugs that will not only harm your liver or your intestines or your mind. I'm here to, it's as easy as picking a basil from your herb garden.
Yeah. Well, this is like a longer, deeper conversation, but if CBD as a plant can heal people, make people feel calm, make people get rid of their acne, just imagine how many businesses it would shut down, like pharmacology, like all of these pills. So I think it's like almost like they don't want it to succeed.
Well, that's, it's all about control and, of course, money.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't exclude Western medicine completely. Like, knock on wood, if I get run over tomorrow, I would need a doctor to stitch me up in the ER.
Hmm.
But I think for, more short-term problems like stress and anxiety and sleep deprivation, why do you have to go and take a pill? Why can't you do something natural first as a remedy?
Yeah.
Of course, in more severe cases as Alzheimer's and cancer and everything, we need Western medicine and doctors, because I wouldn't want to. And again, you have to always consult with your physician before taking anything. I can't make any claims legally, but try it out. It can't hurt you. It's
Yeah.
neutral. It's not going to harm any of your intestines or alter your brain or your mind or anything.
Mhm. So you're an entrepreneur and you're growing a business. How do you keep, I mean, right before this, your store was flooded. So how do you keep going and how do you keep motivated when shitty things like that happen?
I think that if you were, content and happy every day, there's something wrong.
Mhm.
You have to, you know, experience the bad to see the good. And
Mhm.
I think that you need challenges to grow. Like, I hate the word failure. I always replace it with lesson.
Mhm.
So it's just another step to push you forward and to teach you something else. So whenever, I have a leakage and the roof falls down, okay, what do I learn till next time? What are the precautions we need to take? Or if one of the formulas doesn't work, what else do we need to do? It kind of, I think it keeps things interesting and it keeps me using my mind. And, it's better than sitting at a desk with total safety and being unhappy, at least for me.
Mhm.
So all the challenges and all the ups and downs and sleepless nights, all of a sudden you have that, oh my God moment, when everything's worth it.
Yeah, wow. That's such a great way to see it.
Yeah.
I know, and you were even saying like this is probably pushing something away, so something else is coming in.
Yeah. It's like
That's
something erupted,
yeah.
physically right now. So something else can, come in. And, 2020 was such a major shift, I think, globally. And, we were just, February 2nd, 2020. There's so much energy out there, and there's so many people now that are kind of questioning more things and want to do their own research and kind of moving out of that, coma that
Mhm.
we've been in. It's like, why do we need to do this? Why do I need to
Yeah.
follow this structure that the government taught me? Or why do I need to sit in a classroom and teach the same things as 15 other people because we're 15 different persons?
Yeah.
Not everyone is going to like math or science or English or crafts. Or I just think we've been so, I don't know, prisoned in a sense that. So I hope that in the future, when you start school, you kind of see, oh, this is a more of a, person that likes to go the math route. Or so we can be molded and built in a different way that we can use our talents and our gifts instead of thinking that we have to be just like everyone else, because there's
Yeah.
so few leaders and there's so many followers, and we need to change that.
Yeah.
There's no competition. There's plenty for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just, a recent example when you say about hurdles in entrepreneur businesses. I had a, sales person working for me, and, things happen. You don't always see eye to eye. And that person, resigned in November. And recently I discovered that, that person is making its own skincare company right now with,
Mhm.
using the same lab as I did and all that. When I told the few people I did, they were like, oh, you have to text, or why aren't you angry? And for me, it's more like, it's then someone else will benefit from that as well. I'm
Yeah.
not going to spend time being jealous or angry. Or I kind of look at it as, isn't what they say, imitation is the most sincerest form of flatter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's plenty to go around. There's no need to be greedy, or you're the only one. Like, I can't provide the whole world with CBD skincare. I wouldn't have, there's no time in the day. So that want to do good and want to share this amazing plant, let's just all work together.
Yeah. Wow, that's like I believe that too, but most people say that, but they don't like practice what they preach, you know?
That's important too. Like, of course, when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell? Can I say something on the podcast? But I was like, that's kind of shady. But you know what? It is what it is. I can't stop it. I can't use, I don't want to use my energy on being. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, but that's also a mental practice
Mhm.
to switch how you see and how you feel. Maybe, Sarah 5 years ago would have gone mental. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's what we, circling back to a spiritual practice, I think it
Mhm.
makes you a more grounded, patient, and wise person.
Mhm.
You can never learn too much. You can never read too much. You can never listen enough.
Mhm.
So my mother said a good thing. She said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you have to leave the room.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
So before you said that it almost sounded like you were being triggered by all of these like Instagram people looking beautiful. And, I just found out about this thing called Facetune that people like change their face.
Yeah.
Why does that bother you so much?
Because it's another form of pressure to put on, especially on a female.
Mhm.
Not only do we, have to compete in a, quote unquote man's world, we're also supposed to be mothers and entrepreneurs and work and go to the gym and cook. And it's just like, I'm tired.
Yeah. So you
And on
feel
top of that,
felt that pressure.
what?
You felt that pressure. That's why it bothered you.
It might not be for everyone, but in my circle and in my, environment, I was just, can we just be who we are? And I remember I was going to an event and I talked to this person on Instagram, and we were supposed to meet up. And when I saw her, she looked nothing like she did. Beautiful girl naturally, but
Mhm.
did not look whatsoever like she did on her Instagram photos. And I was just like, you're such a naturally gorgeous girl. Why do you feel you have to do this?
Mhm. And what'd she say?
Ask her that. No, no. What she chooses to do is none of my business. But to me, it's just like I thought she was more pretty, in real life than on her pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bring this up because I think we're all kind of tired of it. And it's like, okay, then we have to actually change our behavior and show up in an authentic way and be our true selves. So I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm tired of seeing these perfect people on Instagram when I know that they're not perfect.
Yeah.
They don't have like these perfect lives. And you're right. Like, I think people do feel pressure about it.
But you rarely see, like, I follow a few accounts that kind of show the truth, but you rarely see someone posting a story about, oh my God, look at my laundry basket, or my house is a mess, or I got a period stain on my pants on my way to work. Like, no
Mhm.
one does that. Instagrammable food. And I'm guilty of that. I don't, I only post the fun times as well. But sometimes I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to post this because
Yeah.
I can't spend any more time editing and seeing if, my nose was perfect, or if a hair straw was out of line. It's just like, you know what, it is what it is.
Yeah. I just want to read, if I can, what you wrote on your website. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Because I love these words. Each of us wears masks by which we move through the world, from how we present ourselves at the office to time spent with our loved ones. We exhibit to the world a mere version of our genuine selves. At night, we wash the day away and lay bare our truth. It is this moment when we discard the facades from which MASK draws its inspiration.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
But it's so true.
It is. And that, that's the foundation of this company is you have to be comfortable in all the masks you're wearing, not just one or two. It has to be a 360. And I put out a few blog posts on the page as well with mantras you can say to yourself and how to accept yourself. And but you have to start. You can't expect anyone else to make you happy or make you this and that. It has to start with you.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it.
And sometimes it's subconscious. Like, I definitely always thought I had a lot of self-confidence and self-esteem, but then it wasn't being reflected in my outer world. And so I actually started doing the Louise Hay, the mirror work. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with the mirror work, but you have to say these mantras to your face in the mirror, and it's like really awkward.
Awkward in the beginning, like,
Yeah.
beautiful. And I'm like, okay, let's go again. But yeah, well,
But
should.
But you don't realize that you never say those things to yourself.
No, you don't. And you're in your mind all day. So you have to say good things to yourself and your body. And just imagine everything your body does for you. It heals itself when you're sick. It carries you around all day. And if all you do is criticize it, like consider if your body is a different person.
Mm-hmm.
How would you do that to someone else? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't say to someone else day in and day out, oh, pull your stomach in, or I hate your hair, or your teeth are not white enough, and your belly's too big. You don't say that to people, but you say it to yourself every day, or
And you think it, which is even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to stop. There's different body shapes and sizes and colors and genders, but at the end of the day, we're all human. I know that sounds so cliche.
Yeah.
But why can't we just see past that?
Yeah. So I have a few questions left. You've healed your acne. So have you been able to take off your mask?
I am. I'm actually not wearing makeup today.
Wow.
I have a lot of makeup-free days. So but before I went to the gym with makeup. But now unless I have a meeting or, I go, of course, if I go to the office, I wear tinted moisturizer and my eyebrows, but I barely put on makeup now.
That's amazing.
I used to, with, my previous boyfriend, I used to sleep with makeup on. That's just, have you seen Bridesmaids where she wakes up?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, we have all done that.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like that, and now and if I get acne here and there before my period, or if I, are stressed, or it's just like, you have to embrace it. And it's a reason for that acne. And that's part of, your everyday, but it's gotten so much better.
Yeah.
And it can for, everyone. You just need to find what works for you.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted to share?
I think for the people that are listening now, if you're skeptic to, CBD or spiritual practices, or there's so many places you can go online, or you can reach out to anyone on Instagram. Like, don't be scared. Don't be scared to try something new and try something that'll better your life and better the lives of the people around you. Just because it might be frowned upon where you're from, or it might be considered weird, or there's always someone you can reach out to. And especially if you're in New York City, come by any of our locations and sit down with our amazing staff who's truly knowledgeable and there to help you. And we've had all walks of lives in our store that sits there for 5 minutes or 1 hour and share their stories. And it's just, we want to create a community. And I think, everyone can be a part of it. So you and all of your listeners and everyone is welcome. I just think we need to spread, the awareness and the word more about this amazing plant, because it's just so fabulous.
Well, this whole, my whole mission is to help people awaken and start their spiritual practice, but also align to what they're supposed to do in life, to live their dream lives. So are you living your dream life? What is your definition of your dream life?
To be happy, to have, inner peace. I know I'm not happy every day, but I feel content. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel like what I'm doing is right. So I think my definition of success is getting to a place where you don't feel like you have to please anyone else but yourself. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Amen, sister.
Where can people find you? Hemp Garden, MＡSK?
If you want to learn more about, MASK and the products, you can go to www.maskskincare.com. Our Instagram is maskskincare.com. If you have any questions, or if you want to learn more, DM me, because I run the account right now, so I answer every single one of you. If you want to come by one of our retail locations, then go to hempgardengroup.com and you will find all of our locations there.
Yeah, and I have to say, their products are amazing. I've tried most of them.
Laura loves the tea.
I love the tea.
Hey.
Oh my God, because I
My God, excuse me.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. This has been so wonderful and so easy to talk to.
And you're my first podcast.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Broke my podcast virginity. So thank you. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.